All right, so welcome back to another Sunday breakdown. As you guys can see, I'm accompanied by my young one here, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to be breaking down GJ, gold, and NAS100 as we go into a new trading week. Just make sure to use proper risk management, and let's ensure and make sure that we're following our trading plan. So let's go into the land of the charts. Alrighty, let's get this done and booyah. All right, so here we go, GJ. Starting back up from the daily time frame, really and truly, I said daily, I meant weekly. We can see as this past week we still went ahead and pushed up, but we pushed up with some rejections. Predominantly going back to the daily time frame, we can see the smooth uptrend and downtrend. I'm sorry, the uptrend structure right here to where we transition the trend, and we've really been kind of making these high points from here on out. Kind of filtering, you can see here that we're really focused on this last pullback that we made, going down to a lower time frame, right? We can absolutely see where we are within structure to where previously before we were somewhere like around down here to where we kind of came from here to here, not testing anything, but predominantly coming up a little bit higher. So we can see here that we kind of retracted into what we call the golden zone. And yeah, so looking at double the amount of data, we could see it a little bit more clearly. We're from this higher low, kind of just looking at the last piece of data to make sure we're following structure according to the process. We could see that it was on this 5 hour time frame that after making this high right here, we then pushed to right here, causing us to push our fib levels up somewhere along the lines of this, to where now we went ahead and we hit the negative 27% and the targeted 61.8, causing us to make a new higher high up here, to where now we're interested in seeing this retest that we're getting as of right now based off of structure. Now, keep in mind, this is just a 5 hour time frame structure. If you do want to alleviate some of the data, you can come back to your higher time frame, either the 10 hour, which set the tone previously where we got 23.6 here, placing the fib from here to here at this previous one, but 5 hour and lower, it's showing that we're right here. So if we break this 5 hour structure, we'd have to go up higher and look at double the amount of data. Kind of going down low and just seeing some of this detail in this overall retrace and just exactly what's going on here in this area. We kind of see. So we have some wicks over here from us previously tapping this area. So predominantly, right, we can see here that the market has kind of pushed, and here we are on these lower things. Now, here's the thing, right? Keep in mind, because we're not basing it off of this market structure movement anymore, we're basing it off of this most recent one. I feel the need that this trend line should be shifted to the current directional trend bias, which is somewhere like around here. Maybe we're looking to get somewhere like around this. This other trend line that I have, we still haven't got our third touch yet predominantly, so I'm thinking that it's a potential that the market can kind of come back around somewhere like around here or lower, but really predominantly looking at the 1 hour, I'm just expecting some type of rejection. What happens here? Wait, mommy, 1 second. I'm just expecting some type of rejection down, somewhere down to the downside. 1 second. All right, back where I never left off at. So predominantly what I'm looking for as of right now within price action as we kind of go down to these lower time frames and kind of I'm looking for price to begin rejecting towards more so the upside. I'm looking at these areas that we have these so-called support areas where you're seeing these clear as day white lines, kind of just going down lower. I'm looking for a rejection of price, right? Now, theoretically, I would want to start off with this 750 kind of holding, because if we can hold at this 750 area, that means that we can find some area of entry for a support and kind of look come 6 o'clock to go long from here with a stop loss that matches underneath here, somewhere around right here, and go for a high risk toward setup. So we're really looking for this because based on how we see here, right, especially on this time frame, the downtrend hasn't ended, right? Like we're still making lower highs and lower lows at these defined areas, and we're still breaking and retesting structure every step of the way. So the goal now would be to find some type of sense of structure around here based on how this 1 hour is looking with the rejection that's coming in. So that way on this 30-minute time frame, we can begin to solidify here being the lows, and we can really begin to kind of push off from here. But it's only if price can respect around here. You dig what I'm saying? Like, that's the only way. Outside of that, let me see, we're in the 193 areas. Outside of that, the next support area is going to have to be like around 193,500, which is all the way down here. So it's kind of like a patience game at this moment in time because we just respected the 50, and we're kind of in between of a range. So I would like to see at the lowest price kind of come back is maybe like around here. If possible, price can kind of come back and get the interaction. If we kind of come back to the 30-minute, just kind of aligning the data, right? Price can kind of actually drop at the lowest down here, but even at this low, we would be completely depleting the 5 hour time frame, and we'll be looking to make a move based off of the higher time frame, which in sequence can make sense, right? Because obviously before this we were really just chilling at 23.6, and then we kind of just pushed up to the next high area, which is around here. So we can get a confluence over here at this retest area with this 500 as well, or we could drop down lower. So it's just taking the next best setup basically on where we find support at. But that's pretty much it for GJ. Gold, goddamn. Like, I took my pieces on gold, but as you can see, gold is just phenomenal. Gold is moving off this 23.6 and still targeting this area right here. So like, my bias for gold hasn't really changed too much. Just give and take the simple fact that we're still kind of pushing up off this 23.6 area. It doesn't matter what time frame you go, doesn't matter how you look at it, gold did this. So until we could get to this profit target up here, that's more so when I'm concerned to look at it. So I'll be just monitoring gold's lower time frame structure of break and retest, and actually just following the structure that's making in real time, right? Like in real time as it's making it, which, like, for example, we could see that gold is just creating higher highs and higher lows. Like, it's not stopping for anything. Like, it's doing its thing, it's getting its retests, but most importantly, like, it's maintaining the structure that we all know, love, and care for. So it's like really looking at it from a perspective of the structure, right? These certain high points that we've been making and these certain areas, right, of where we've just been holding off at areas of support. Like, gold has really just been retesting these areas and it's making sure that they're moving, especially at these institutional levels known as the QBs, right? Like, from right here, like, we really came back right around here and respected that 75 QP and just kept on moving. And now after this, really and truly, the next one is up here, like near 100. So it's just like really and truly, like, we have a still of a bull run like going on with gold. So unless gold breaks any one of these minor structures, right, that it's been making, which I'd count, here's a minor structure, here's a minor structure. You know, there's all these areas where we have all these touches, and these areas where you just have all this trend being maintained at, right? Like, unless gold can like really like break one of these areas, it's more so like where I'm really concerned about it. But outside of that, I would say the trend is still your friend with gold, and you know, like, we still trying to get the fuck up out of here. You know what I'm saying? We still trying to pump. We still trying to push. Like, that's the goal at the end of the day with gold, like, to just continue going up. So I'm really gonna be watching it from a lower time frame perspective this week, and just kind of catching the transitional effects if there are any, and just really watching gold tightly. But basically, of that bias, right? Like, for me, like, we still didn't hit the higher high area yet for me to really adjust anything, because we're still in mid motion after breaking this last move and it's kind of identifying where we are within structure. So that's pretty much it. Nazi pool. Damn, bro. Nas took a shit. So let's kind of backtrack on Nas a little bit. Let's get back to the daily time frame. So overall, believe it or not, we're in an overall uptrend. But Nas, yeah. Nas has been just doing Nas shit. You know, we went from moving smooth to where we could see it to going up to just dropping it like it's hot. And predominantly in this area, switching to the 5 hour here, like switching to this area like where we dropped it as it's hot, like this is like where you trading Nas, you just kind of want to be careful, because we transitioned here, right? Like, you see the trend lines, you see everything. I can kind of remove these because you obviously get the point, right? We broke in structure on here, right? And we're like just moving upwards very, very viciously in the uptrend of everything, right? Like, in the up sense of just everything, like, right? Like, we were just respecting price action and just moving, right? Until right here. Right here, we came and we broke. So it's just like, damn. So now, as I go down lower, right, let's go to double the amount of data. I know that eventually I'm going to have, like, I can expect some type of a retest at this defined area, but we just been just pushing, bro. And coming down to, like, the 1 hour time frame, like, We have a huge demand area right here, so I would really like to see what price kind of does around this area. Um, Really and truly, like I would say, like really, like I'm looking at like the 19. Well, we could say like the 19 ones was the major, and then we could say here that the 1975 is somewhere within here, like right around there, and then we could say the 192 is like the 19200 is like the next one, right? And then we have so price could really come back down here and within this defined range and kind of find support in any one of these areas that you see me making the lines at, and it doesn't have to, but at the end of the day, like it's an observation that's worth kind of watching, right? Because we delete the fib level and we just look at just pure price action, right? We go back to the 4 hour, right? Like price previously before has made a respect off of here and have pushed off higher. So I'm going with the first one first, right? Like obviously I'm gonna go with the first one that we respected 9 times out of 10, the very first time on the very first attempt. And with Nas, you just want to wait for it, right? Like you want to have as much patience as possible because this is a pair that can either make it or break it for you if you just trade it correctly. But based on where I am and just looking at the what I perceive as trend, give me 1 second. Right, seeing what I perceive as trend, like we sort of stopped the downtrend here and kind of went back up to the upside. So I'm hoping that this is a steep retest, and I'm hoping that we can get some rejections from this downside because if we look right here, the common area that we have in factor is right around here. So I am more than happy to kind of just be in it to win it at this point right around here. So it's kind of just a patience game. I mean, like if we look at the bigger scale, right? Like we're still overall in an uptrend. We're just making some very higher lows right now, and like theoretically, looking at the supply and demand from this higher time frame perspective, the only areas that interest me that make sense are like areas that we've previously been at, which on this time frame and this perspective is really none. And then we look right here in between. Okay, well we have maybe a potential area right here where we came and retested and had previous indecision, right? But nothing really of detail. It's really just coming on here on this analyzing time frame and figuring out, okay, because obviously we see the trend, right? We see the trend, we see where we came down, we see where we kind of did this, and we see where we're kind of retesting. All right, so whenever this pair has done some type of V-shaped recovery in some way, shape, or form, there's a purpose behind it. And me kind of looking for the indecision areas that's based on where we're at, right? I don't really see any as far as for from the left to the right. Besides this area right here where we made a previous lower low, like I could drag this zone and I can alter it to like right around here, right? To where we acted as a lower low, then a lower high, whatever the case may be. But it's still leading to a rejection from this area, kind of going like a little bit broader, right? So I think the biggest thing for me is seeing is we're gonna hold this area or we're gonna break and continue to go down, and it's really just trading the trend that we see. But for me, predominantly just based on what I would like to see, I would like to see rejections kind of formulate from here and then push up to the upside, so that way we can get the momentum kind of going. But we have to trade what we see. Shia, we got to trade what we see. So that's just one thing for sure. But I would like to see some type of rejections within this area, so that way we could kind of bounce up to the upside, something along the lines of just this, right? To where we can kind of come and you know rebuild and kind of go back up, because obviously like when this thing's in the uptrend it's smooth, whether it's in an uptrend or a downtrend it's cool, but these bleed days that we've been happening have been very massive, and I feel like it's going to be a correction of structure. I could be wrong though, I could be wrong, but I'm insinuating that there should be a correction of structure. So let's just see based on where we are and to see if it's going to move via structure so we can pick it up from there. So with that being case, trading what I see on gold, GJ getting ready for the buys at this area that it's potentially approaching to. We can see the rejection starting to come into the markets. And yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. God bless. Y'all guys have a good one. Have a wonderful trading week. Remember to follow that plan, and I'll see you guys on the next one. God bless and deuces.